But that's a murder weapon in Clay Tarrant's case. Yes, this is a knife that took Mr. Tarrant's life, but there must have been a knife just like this at the scene 7 years ago as well. Toolkits containing utility knives like this one are issued to Space Center employees, and a robotics lab especially would naturally have one of these around.
Objection!
But, besides the katana, no other bladed weapon was found at the site. It was in the investigation report, if you didn't know.
Objection!
Of course I knew that, once you told me just now. Then there's something else you already knew. There was a toolkit at the scene, but it didn't contain any blades. Here is a photo of its contents. Fine, but there is something odd about the design on these handles. Therefore, there was no other bladed weapon in the room.
Objection!
I disagree. This toolkit contained a knife. And what proof do you have of that? Don't tell me your eye of art is failing you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You are the last person in the world who should be criticizing my aesthetic sense. No, he's simply watching out for your ocular health. Please proceed, Mr. Wright. Handles of each of these tools have a sort of design on them? Ah, I see that they do, but what significance does that have? It's clear that one of the tools is missing from this kit. If we rearrange the tools into a specific pattern, we might be able to tell which part of the overall design is missing. Is that the theory your pitiful sense of aesthetics help you come up with? Edgeworth, just let it go, man.
Take that!
And what? The Gaiaxa logo, Your Honor. It's all in the Space Center's documents and pamphlets. As you're aware, Gaiaxa is the program that operates the Cosmos Space Center. Look at how brightly the Gaiaxa logo shines in the sunlight above the entranceway. I really dig the stars and rocket motif it's got going. Gaiaxa, huh? Isn't that the new name of the Federal Space R&D program? Ah, I think I see it now. But yes, with just the tool shown in this photo, the red A part of the logo is missing. And this is where the murder weapon for the Terran case comes into play. If we were to place a utility knife in the open slot, it would complete the Gaiaxa logo. So it would! Then that means... Admit it, Mr. Edgeworth. My aesthetic sense is keener than yours, and while you're at it, admit that the weapon Miss Sykes used could have been this one. We got him on the ropes, eh? Hit him with that 1-2. Oh, no order in the court. Miss Sykes confessed to having a memory of stabbing the victim. Admittedly, Miss Sykes most likely did stab someone using the utility knife. However, the weapon used to kill Dr. Sykes was the katana. Therefore, the act of stabbing that Miss Sykes remembers couldn't be that of Dr. Sykes. Very well, let's suppose for a minute that Miss Sykes did use the utility knife. Tell me, how does that change anything? Come again. Decode to conceal the true murder weapon. What if the real weapon that took the victim's life was a utility knife? Don't be ridiculous, or are you changing the premise of your entire argument? I'm merely offering a hypothetical situation derived from your logic. Miss Sykes could have put the blood on the katana to make it look like the murder weapon, and then concealed the knife on her personage until Black will carried her away. That does clear up contradiction between Miss Sykes' memories and the evidence. If in fact the murder weapon is the utility knife, then fate has dealt you a cruel hand. For you have just proven the knife's existence to the rest of us with your own logic.
Objection!
The prosecution is attempting to lead the court.
Objection!
You're the one attempting to lead the court, Mr. Wright, by forcing us to forget the facts of this case. Need I remind you that there were only 2 people in the lab at the time of the murder, and that the defendant herself recalls stabbing someone with her own hands? No. It matters not whether the murder weapon was a katana or a utility knife, as long as we know that the victim and the defendant were the only ones there. You cannot escape the fact that it was Athena Sykes who killed her own mother. I don't believe it. Why? Why does this keep happening? Every time I find a... It's almost as if Now you're finally starting to get it. Your contradictions keep vanishing because the charges is true. And the suspicion keeps coming back to the defendant because that's where it belongs. Phoenix Wright, when will you open your eyes and accept the truth? Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to believe it. It can't be true. But what if... Mr. Wright, you fought a good fight. I think you've done all you can do. Is giving up really the only option? No. Snap out of it, Phoenix. What's the matter with you giving into doubt? I can't look back. Forward is the only way to go. No, Your Honor, not yet. It isn't over yet. Right. I can't lose sight of what's important. I believe in Athena, and I'll always believe in her. To the very end. A defense lawyer never gives up on his client. I have to pick myself up and stand firm. Make that brain of yours work, Phoenix. If I don't see a way, I'll just have to go back and look for one. Time to rethink this case thoroughly. I can see the fact that Athena must have stabbed someone's utility knife. This must have been what Ponko witnessed as Athena's hug. Someone must have removed it from the lab before he arrived. If I trusted Athena, then I have to conclude there was a third person at scene. But according to Ponko's testimony, Athena... But wait a minute. Ponko has a heartbeat detection. To go pose as the victim. That would explain why Ponko thought only she and Athena were there. Take advantage. Oh, I was right up to this point. Her jacket. The culprit could have posed as a victim by wearing a jacket with the ID tag on it, but that still leaves a heartbeat detection. So how did the culprit get around that? I would have worked if Ponko could detect a real Dr. Sykes. That's it! The person Athena stabbed wasn't Dr. Sykes. It was the person who murdered her and then pretended to be her. The real culprit. Now that Mr. Wright has finally finished thinking, let us bring this to a swift end. Please give us your verdict, Your Honor, so that we can move on to a hostage negotiations. You are absolutely right, Prosecutor Edgeworth. I hereby...
Objection!
I didn't say I was finished. I was only pausing for a second, because I realized something so shocking I had to take a break to digest it. But now I know for a fact that Miss Sykes is innocent. But Ponko saw me. She witnessed the moment of the crime. Yes, Ponko did witness something. She saw the hug. In other words, the moment you used the utility knife. But the person you stabbed wasn't your mother. What are you saying, Mr. Wright? The answer is simple. The person Miss Sykes stabbed was a third person posing as Dr. Sykes. What?
Objection!
Do you really expect us to swallow that, Mr. Wright? According to the robot statements, there was no third person there. Did you really think I wouldn't see through the ludicrous grab for time?
Objection!
After all we've been through, Mr. Edgeworth, I'm disappointed. Don't you know by now that this smile of mine means I have absolute confidence? Ha! You make that pose all the time regardless of the facts. Klonko's strange malfunction? Mr. Terran, you look pale. Shall I help you to the sick bay? Mr. Terran? But that's Apollo you're talking to. Oh, this hunk of junk here is mistaking Apollo for Clay. Maybe Apollo's possessed by Clay's ghost. That was another case of mistaken identity caused by a jacket ID tag. All because Klonko couldn't read Apollo's facial features due to that eye patch. Like Mr. Edgeworth said, a mask could nullify the robot's facial recognition, and then all the person would have to do is wear a jacket with the victim's ID tag to pose as her.
Objection!
Of all the ridiculous theories, what good would a silly disguise like that do? Have you forgotten that the robot also has a heartbeat detection system? If there was a third person at the scene, the robot would have detected them. I'm sorry, Mr. Edgeworth, but that doesn't count for much, I'm afraid. Because by the time that Dr. Sykes' heart had already stopped beating... What? So does that mean? Yes, Your Honor, the person Miss Sykes stabbed. This third person who was posing as Dr. Sykes is her mother's real killer. But that's... I'm impossible! A mask? The person I stabbed was wearing a mask? Order! Order in the court! Miss Sykes, did you say something? A mask. Yes, I remember. Athena! What is it? Psyche locks. I remember a man with a mask. How could he? What did he do to my mother? My head. Miss Sykes, are you alright? No. The black psyche lock. They're breaking. Dude, this is the end. It's all coming back to me. Everything that happened the day my mother was murdered. They're gone. The black psyche locks are finally gone. You didn't really stab your mother, did you? It's alright, Athena. Just tell us what you saw that day. I was drawing a picture. When I was done, I went to show it to my mom. I opened the door, and then... yeah. It's alright. I'm here. You're safe, Athena. She was on the floor by the workbench with the katana sticking out of her. There was a hand or handkerchief over her face, but I knew it was her by her clothes. And there was a man there. A man?
Hold it!
Quiet, Your Honor. Go on, Athena. He tried to attack me. In a panic, I grabbed the knife that was there, and he dodged at first, so I only got his clothes, but I tried again. And this time you got him, didn't you? I did. I remember it clearly now. The knife went into the back of his hand. Then he kicked me and I passed out.